harvest.
Greetings to you all, dear Ifriqiya FM listeners. This is Imene Nouad with the latest news from across the continent and the world. Algeria and the United States reaffirmed their strength of their bilateral relations as the United States Advisor for Africa and the Arab World and the Middle East, Masoud Boulos, declares in a statement after talks with President Abdelmajid Tebboune at the Presidential Palace, assuring that both countries are committed to deepening cooperation and working jointly for a regional stability and a peaceful future. Let's hear what Boulos said.
It is great honor for me to return to Algeria and once again experience the warm hospitality for which the Algerian people are known for. I would also like to express my gratitude to President Tebboune for the opportunity to engage in another frank and constructive discussion. Together with President Tebboune, we reaffirm our shared commitment to strengthen our cooperation, particularly in the areas of peace building and addressing security and regional concerns. We also highlight the significant potential for expanding our trade relations, building on the solid foundations of economic cooperation between our two countries. On the sidelines of the visit, I had the opportunity to meet with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, to discuss our joint efforts to support peace and stability, including in the Sahel region. I also met with the Minister of State, Minister of Hydrocarbons and Mines, Mohamed Arkab, to explore new horizons for commercial partnership and how the United States and Algeria can work together to achieve mutual benefit. This visit strengthens my confidence in the strength of U.S.-Algerian relations and in our shared commitment to building a more peaceful and prosperous future for the two countries.
France and Algeria relations should move towards a new phase of cooperation, and this is stressed by Ségolène Royal, the president of the France-Algeria Association. Following her meeting with President Abdelmajid Tebboune, she calls for relations based on historical truth, including the return of archives, and underlines the principle of mutual respect between equal partners. Royal's visit comes amid escalating diplomatic tensions with France after what is erroneously presented as a documentary, but which is in reality nothing more than a web of deeply offensive and unnecessarily provocative falsehood by the French national television France 2. And this, to explain more about this topic, we have Widad Alawa with me here in the studio. Hello, Widad.
Hello, Iman.
Hello, and Widad, the tensions are escalating between Algeria and France that the chargé d'affaires of the French embassy in Algiers, Gilles Bourba, was summoned previously to the headquarters of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs following the broadcast. And now we see that Ségolène Royal, the president of the France-Algeria Associations, met with President Tebboune with a different approach. But what can you tell us on this topic, Widad?
Yes, Iman, we noticed that familiar voices are stepping forward with a call for renewal. From Algiers, Ségolène Royal, president of the France-Algeria Association, is urging both nations to turn the page on confrontation and mistrust, advocating a reset based on truth. Let's listen to Royal Ségolène.
The history between France and Algeria is a wounded one, shaped by domination and unworthy violence, but also by resistance, by intertwined destinies, families built across both shores, shared economic and cultural projects, partnerships, and untapped potential that has too often been ignored or misunderstood, and that we must bring to light. We must move away from petty political provocations and divisive rhetoric coming from those who do not want Algeria to move forward and who still refuse to acknowledge Algeria's national sovereignty, its diplomatic role in the world, its choice of non-alignment, and its full freedom to choose its alliances and the causes it supports. I deeply respect this country, and I hope that the French authorities will ultimately come to respect Algeria's national sovereignty as well. A repaired friendship between our countries must become a reality so that we may build, create, understand, and invent to shape paths towards fulfilling lives. We must tear down walls in order to build bridges of knowledge and mutual respect through dialogue.
As we have listened through her visit, Wayal is aiming to discuss particularly the fields of economic innovation and culture, while reaffirming the long-standing role of the France-Algeria Friendship Association in promoting dialogue and mutual understanding. Whether this call for renewal will translate into lasting change depends on the political will of the two countries to turn words into action and rebuild trust on foundations of truth and mutual respect.
Thank you, Widad, on this explanation. Now shifting to Western Sahara. On the ground in Western Sahara, Sahrawi forces intensify military operations as units of the Sahrawi People Liberation Army target Moroccan military bases and positions in the Gelta area. According to Sahrawi's Ministry of Defense, the attacks caused heavy human and material losses among Moroccan forces. In Spain, judicial authorities take action against Moroccan consulate in Murcia. A Spanish court orders the freezing of the consulate bank's account. The move follows a final ruling in a case involving harassment and unfair dismissal of a former employee after compensation remains unpaid. Now, in Guinea, political continuity is confirmed at the executive level as President Mamadi Doumbouya appoints Amadou Oriba as a prime minister. The decision is formalized through a presidential decree broadcasted on the state television. Niger's transitional authorities announced changes within the government as President Abdurrahman Tiani carries out a cabinet reshuffle. According to the Nigerian news agency, the adjustment mainly concerned ministers linked to economic management and development. Now, down south a little bit in Nigeria, the army announces the rescue of kidnapping victims. Troops free 11 hostages during an overnight operation along the Kaduna-Abuja highway. The victims had been held for more than 90 days, highlighting the persistent security challenges in the area. Still in security news, in South Sudan, fighting raises fear of renewed civil war as the clashes continue in Jonglei state between rival factions despite government assurance that the country is not at war. The United Nations warns the violence has displaced over 180,000 people and threatens of the 2018 peace agreement disagreement again. Now shifting to the economy, Algeria records a strategic industrial milestone. The first shipment of iron ore from the Garage Bilat mine is expected to reach processing plants in Oran this Thursday. The operation marks the start of a large-scale exploitation at the local transformation of raw materials into manufactured products. OPEC's first female president faces corruption charges in London. Dizani Alison Maduki, former Nigerian oil minister, goes on trial accused of taking bribes between 2011 and 2015. Prosecutor says she received cash, luxury cars, school fees, and designer goods from companies seeking oil contracts. Two others, including her brother, are also charged, but all defendants deny the allegations. The IMF approves the final review of Zambia's lending program as the sixth and last credit facility unlocks $180 million for the southern African nation. Zambia, which previously sought up to $1.7 billion to avoid debt crisis, will now rely on domestic revenues and partners to recover the remaining gaps. The government also forecasts growth above 6% in 2026 and the budget deficit reduced by more than half despite ongoing high inflation. Rwanda files an arbitration case against the United Kingdom over a cancelled asylum deal. Kigali says it is owed more than $130 million, accusing Britain of breaching the 2022 migration partnership. The scheme, which involved transforming asylum seekers arriving illegally in the UK to Rwanda, is scrapped in 2024 by Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Rwanda also accuses London of failing to renegotiate financial terms and of backing out of plans to resettle vulnerable refugees. Now shifting to environment, Algerian authorities issues a rare and urgent storm alert as powerful winds approach. The National Meteorological Office is placing Algeria under level 3 red alert, forecasting gusts that could reach or exceed 120 kilometers per hour. Many regions from Wednesday to Thursday, including coastal, highland and interior areas. The storm system is expected to affect at least 19 wilayas, with the winds initially hitting 60 to 120 kilometers per hour, strengthening sharply in the afternoon, and rough seas bringing waves up to 7 meters along the Mediterranean coast. In response, the Ministry of Education as well as Ministry of Vocational Training suspended classes in 52 of Algeria's 69 provinces for 2 days, and civil defense authorities also urged residents to prepare alternative lighting, stay away from windows and power poles, secure loose objects, and avoid non-essential travel. In East Africa, drought continues to fuel severe humanitarian crisis in Kenya as the northeastern regions face acute water shortages, massive livestock losses, and rising food insecurity. Hospitals report increasing numbers of severely malnourished children as aid agencies struggle to meet growing needs. To delve more into this climate change crisis, Yasmin Ben Ashur joins us on the studio. Welcome and hello, Yasmin.
Hello, Imene.
Yasmin, this humanitarian crisis is causing many challenges for Kenyans, but how bad the situation actually is on the ground?
Yes, Imene, northeastern Kenya is facing a bad drought. In Mandera country, there has been no rain since May. Villages are burning dead animals to keep hyenas away. Most people depend on their animals for food and money. Water is very short. Goats, cows, and camels must walk up to 13 kilometers to find water. More than 2 million people in 23 countries do not have enough food after the rains failed. At Banissa Hospital, many children are very weak from hunger. There is almost no milk for them. Aid groups and the government are helping, but it's not enough. Villagers fear things may get worse soon.
Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you, Imene.
In Southern Africa, the IMF approves the final phase of financial support, and now we shift to the sport news. Concluding with the sport, Algeria, Egypt, Tunisia and Cape Verde qualify for the semi-finals of the Africa Cup Handball Cup of Nations in Kigali. With achievement, all 4 teams also secure qualifications for the 2027 Handball World Cup in Germany. This is all for today's Harvest. Thank you. It was directed by Muad Bab Ahmed, controlled with Adlan, streaming with Rania, and observation with Malika. And you, dear listeners, don't go too far and keep enjoying our programs of the day with Ifriqiya FM, the voice of Africa.